by KT when they one of the first matches on a new patch. So I think honestly, if you're the underdog, it's a good opportunity to try and get some advantages. If you feel like you got a better or quicker read on the patch compared to your opponents, and we have seen some picks trickle in. You know, we saw the Jace, the Renekton, and the Ahri, which all got buffed, have kind of reared their heads so far, even in just day one, and already seen that Jace banned away by Quantum Freaks, which, you know, I think is fair.
It looks really good right now, the Jace, and it's Zeus, so yep. Don't give him Jace. Keen already looked so broken on this pick, and Zeus is just another one of those guys that you do not want to give this champion. Not to mention that it's relatively flexible, but either way, Nautilus also going to be taken off the board. We have seen a lot of Nautilus bans recently as well. Good to see the Senna still banned, even though she did receive her first loss in 18 games. It was the 18th game after the 17-game winning streak of Senna.
Yep, so still very strong. I think it goes without saying. Interesting, we typically see teams direct bans towards Bull with the Kalista. Haven't seen that yet. It did get nerfed a little bit on the patch. Still seems to be high prior, but they actually banned the Draven and not the Kalista away from Bull. But we definitely felt like one of the reasons Quantum Freak struggled in the matchup against Bro is they weren't leaning into the early pressure that we typically have seen from the bot lane that has led to them to have success. And now toying the idea with this first pick Ashe coming out, and they will lock it in, so looking to challenge the bot lane of T1 in the early 2v2, and very swiftly matched. The thing is, with the Calistas, you can actually play a more poke-oriented lane if you max Q, go the early serrated Dirk, and the Varus denies the Varus Ashe from Quantum Freaks, and means you can kind of match pound for pound against the range that Quantum Freaks are likely to go in their bot lane, so
yeah.
Definitely ready for that Ashe to be picked up.
It's kind of a rough spot because if you pick Kalista, then you're up against Varus Ashe, and you're potentially getting outranged, even though you did mention the nice build we have been seeing a lot. So it's pretty rough, especially into Guma and Keria, who are kind of the experts and the leading duo, I would say, in this type of game in the bottom lane. So pretty risky, but they go for the Ashe regardless. The Hui is going to come out here. Would expect that in the mid lane for Bulldog. He has played quite a lot of that. But we might just see Jhin Ashe to try to match in the bottom side here.
Yeah, I mean, just essentially fighting range with range, a lot of poke around these bot lanes. And the thing is, when you have 4 AD carries in the bot lane, whoever can make an impact first there out of the junglers will get so much success. It's so easy to set up a gank against these picks, so we'll see if that's able to come through. Obviously, this feels like a really comfortable spot for Keria, who's obviously one of the foremost players when it comes to picking up those marksman supports. Zeus will once again go with his route where he's kind of just been heavily prioritizing Aatrox in the first 3. Normally we've seen top lane kind of go into the later stages of the ban phase. T1 have gone, no, we want Aatrox. Zeus is fantastic on it. And then we'll just ban away things he doesn't want to have to go up against. First off being Cassante. I wonder if we'll see like the Renekton taken off the cards. Could be something that's taken away.
Not a bad idea. Jarvan as well going to be taken away.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm playing Ashe Jhin bot lane, I wouldn't want to play in a Jarvan. I think, especially as you can't really utilize it as well yourself because it's not as good against Kalista, and obviously she can save Varus from those tricky situations. Actually end up banning the Lee Sin away from Cuz. Sejuani kind of just flying through and not being touched by either side is a little bit interesting, as it was really high prio yesterday.
Might come out here.
Could do. Obviously, kind of leaves that mid pick until later on. The Karma is also something that's available that hasn't really been touched on, so we'll be interested to see what T1 opt to go with in this situation.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting because on this patch, a lot of big picks that we see a lot in pro play got buffed. So I feel like there's more OP stuff, or more stuff that you feel like you have to ban, not necessarily OP. And it's going to be Nocturne out of everything that we did mention. And the Nocturne has been seeing a decent amount of play so far in the LCK, but interesting spot to pick it here.
Yeah, Quantum Freaks need tools to keep that backline safe. They're fully committed to a squishy, hard-to-defend backline, so I feel like a Maokai would fit quite well into what they're trying to achieve. Looking for a top lane pick, it looks like they're going to lean towards the Jax right now for Dudu. Obviously something we have seen picked a lot into the Aatrox, and if the Nocturne dives in, pretty good at dealing with him, but still it feels like there's limited protection for this backline. I think for me a Maokai makes a lot of sense, but I guess they just want the extra power to sync up with the Jax, and they might just go for the Sejuani that has been pretty solid staple in the LCK on the patch, even though one day of it, you know.
It definitely has a lot of strength, but it does feel like we kind of have two parts of a composition over on the Quantum Freak side. There's the Jack Sejuani, and then there's Jhin Ashway.
Yeah.
So will they survive? A good question. As Talia left available until the end, and Faker is going to snatch that one up. As these Ahri also got banned away. We saw what Chovy was able to do on that pick. I don't think you want to give this one to Faker either on this patch. So again, just more and more stuff to ban away.
Yep, and actually interesting to see who goes what in the bot lane in terms of the Kalista and the Varus. I'd have thought the Kalista would go for Guma, and then they'd have the Varus support, but, you know, maybe they shake it up, maybe they change it up. I do think the Talia and the Nocturne is such a powerful duo in terms of map impact, both of them having those global ults, and, you know, we talked about having 480 carries in the bot lane. Whoever can make the impact there first is going to be rewarded heavily, and T1 have kind of set themselves up in a way where they will be able to make that impact. You know, if you start threatening dives towards this Jhin Ash, the game is just going to be yours so quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. And T1 definitely one of the best teams at doing that and getting an early snowball rolling, as we do have a bunch of stuff in the audience. That's GBM as well is out there. And yeah, pretty interesting composition here from the side of Quantum Freaks. We have seen the Jack Sejuani have a lot of power recently, so curious to see if we will see a lot of focus to the top side and just kind of leave Jhin Ash to try to survive against this Nocturne and Talia, who will be down there eventually, as we hop into the Rift for game number 1. Quantum Freaks. Oner, do it.
Pondong fighting! T1! Oner, do it! T1 fighting!
Great cheers from the fans.
Yeah,
really well done.
We saw them in the crowd, you know. I'm pretty sure that was GBM cheering the really high-pitched.
Yeah, I think he might have, you know, he might have been a bit excited. GBM generally doesn't sound like that, but it's the way it goes sometimes. Little setup on the bottom side. I like this, especially when the bottom lane is going to be so contentious.
Oh, this is interesting. So one thing that got actually nerfed on the patch was lethal tempo. For melee champions early is like a lot lower attack speed. And dude has actually gone for the fleet footwork on Jax. So obviously decent amount of sustain, bit of movement speed, but doesn't have as much dueling power, I would say, as the lethal tempo. Especially Zeus going the Conqueror as well. Going to be able to stack that up.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting choice. We have seen a lot of tech into Aatrox involving movement speed. The favorite of Huni, of course, being the Rumble with Swifties. He just loves that build.
I've hit him so much.
Yeah, big fan. Definitely a big build we see oftentimes, but yeah, I suppose the fleet footwork can work a little bit like that.
I love how they changed the supply in this patch specifically to stop people starting like early Dorans.
Yeah, so nice amount of damage onto Andil, but also a ton into Guma, as the last person to play this was Delight into Moham. So Genji versus Kwangdong Freaks about a year ago. 4 days off of a year total.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely Quantum Freaks to have the initial pressure here. Not too much surprise just with how strong the Ashe is. But yeah, you know, I love how they change the supply items. So we're trying to make it so you don't start a Doran's. You have, like, you're punished for it. And we literally have all 4 bot laners starting, like, Doran's Blade.
Did you notice that, by the way? Keria moved away from the lane to give level 2 first, and that's going to be first blood to Keria, speaking of which, as the, is he the AD carry or is he the support?
Well,
I don't know anymore, as Keria picks up a double kill on Kalista.
Yeah, I mean, I think the lanes just boom now. Disrespecting the amount of all-in power that the Kalista has, and the thing is, they also had a bit of a summoner's disadvantage because you remember Andil being that barrier for an early trade. Keria just managed to secure the double.
Also, Keria moved out of the lane to give level 2 to Guma first.
Yeah,
and then Keria was the one who came back at level 1 and got the 2 kills.
I think the theory might be because only one of them could get level 2. You know, if they both shared XP, then they would both be level 1. So opting for the immediate power and Keria just managing to get rewarded here. And this is one of the problems with Jhin. Your attack speed's so slow, it takes a while to get those autos out. Couldn't get the fourth shot soon enough. And yeah, the thing is, I kind of talked about how, you know, whichever jungler makes the impact there first. I talked about, you know, the global presence of the Nocturne. Yeah, that goes out the window.
It's too late.
Yeah, I mean, it does further emphasize wanting Cuz to go down there and make things happen. But again, as you said, I feel like there's more synergy with the Sejuani Jax than there is for the Sejuani going bot lane. If Kwangdong Freaks have the plan of just focusing top lane, I really worry for Bull and Andal.
Yeah. I mean, there's still an opportunity, but it comes way later, I think. You know, once Cuz is level 6, once Andal is level 6 as well, because we know what Sejuani Ashe has in terms of ability to work together as well. But as you already mentioned, the fact that the Kalista has 2 kills already is a big issue.
And you know, I think you can tell there was so much intent from T1's bot lane to really fistfight this, because there's no cleanse. And when you're into Ashe Sejuani, I think most bot lanes would take cleanse on their AD carry, but I feel like them taking heal was very much, no, we're going to fight this. If we need to deal with the Sejuani or the Ashe Arrow, then I guess tough, you know. maybe Guma will buy him a kills to use the AD carry carrier. You know?
That's a good point. I think that's a great first item for Varus, especially. Mikhail's, I mean, when you got a guy like Keria on your team, you might as well.
Yeah.
It's so funny, too, because Guma is like a world-class, world champion, you know, insanely high-level AD carry, and then you're just playing with Keria, so it's like sometimes you just get outshone somehow. It's really ridiculous.
She's got a no ego, you know, that's the only way.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, if they get the win, they get the win.
Part of it is the meta that T1 creates for themselves and for League of Legends, I guess, with this AD carry supports stuff and the amount of times they somehow pick up Senna with the Tom Kench, which Keria was able to pop off with against Bro recently. It does make a big impact in the support role nowadays. As Oner trying to set this up, he does have the prio from bot side, of course, and it is first Infernal Drake here. So Oner trying to speed up to level 6 and make an impact himself.
Yep. I think as well, once you get the... We've got the level 6 for Faker, once you get the level 6 for Oner, I think that's really where you can look to capitalize more on this bot lane. Some heavy trades got on Andal.
Yeah, he's getting pretty low, as we do have Cuz hanging around down on the bottom side here. Oner's not able to hit level 6 just yet off of that objective.
The last camp, and he's 6 maybe?
Did he get the blue? If he got the blue, then probably. And he is angling down. There is a ping on him directly.
No, he still needs more.
He's level 5. Pretty okay. Well, he'll get there. As this bottom lane is pretty rough. Andal is not here, as he did have to back after all the poke did come down.
I think the problem is, it's before you have the level 6 from the Ashe or the Sejuani, it's kind of actually hard to set up on the Varus Kalista. It's kind of hard to find an angle to get on top of them, and you don't have anyone else to like stack your passive. I mean, I guess you can get the root from Jhin, that's the best thing. But yeah, especially with how low Andal was, they didn't want to risk it, didn't want to go for it. And now Oner is level 6, so, you know, that window kind of getting smaller. We do see Guma and Keria going for a reset. I wonder if Keria will head towards the top side and they'll look to... Oh.
Let's see what happens here, as, okay, that is going to sail wide. Oner going to feel the pressure. There's a ward in here, going to come down to a smite fight. Does go the way of Cuz. Oner not quite able to secure that one. Nice little mini invade from Cuz and Bulldog.
Yeah, they get something. You know, they'll secure this Scuttle Crab as well, so, you know, making some progress, but very much feels like, you know, Kwangdong Freaks, they got the grubs, obviously, but haven't made too much impact on the top side of the map. And now this is honestly where it gets quite painful, because we can see both Guma and Keria have come back to lane with Dirks, and I feel like this is honestly where it starts to get painful. When you got like the Varus has 3 points in Q and a Dirk, that's where it really starts to feel painful. And Andal obviously doesn't really have items to match in return.
Yeah. You can see the goal difference there already, as the ult will be flashed away from, and Guma just sidesteps the deadly flourish. So now that's Bull without his flash against Nocturne Talia. Not going to be feeling too great on the Jhin. And they get that just in trade for one ult. Keria not even having to use his yet as he's not level 6.
Yeah, and we also saw Andal actually barrier because he wanted to extend the trade, but T1 just didn't hit him. You know, they were like, well, we got the flash, we kind of got what we wanted.
See a big trade up on the top side, actually. Counter-Strike coming in, but he does get pulled back by the chain, so Dudu does utilize his ultimate to go for that one, but Zeus hanging on to his World Ender for a future trade.
We do see Cuz on the bot side, but again, I just think it's so scary trying to make these plays when you know Nocturne is present. And the thing is, if you have lanes, like the bot lane here winning so hard for T1, you don't need to be proactive as Nocturne. You just need to be within, you know, enough range that if something happens, you can join in. Yeah. And it makes it really hard. Just keep suffocating out Quantum Freak's bot lane. There's no reason you have to necessarily make a play there.
Yeah, I mean, they're up 2 summoners, right, including one of the flashes. So Guma and Keria have Ignite and Heal plus both of their flashes, so they could really extend it if Sejuani does make anything happen. You see that Oner is, as you mentioned, just kind of hanging around on the bottom side of the map, maybe looking mid, maybe looking bot. But it's not going to go for anything just yet. So he doesn't quite have the angle, and they don't want to dive bot just yet.
Guma almost has his ult back as well, so I think that'll be the time where they'll look for something. They can pretty easily just look to target Bull when he gets back to lane. Andal's chunked out. They're kind of bleeding at the moment. Oh no.
There's a ward there. They don't exactly know where Sejuani is, but he's still going to pull the trigger here as Flash does get utilized by Andal, but now under the turret and no Sejuani in sight. Andal in a lot of trouble just being poked out of this one. The wave is coming in as Arrow is utilized, but it's just not going to do too much here as Guma gets Fates called after the double, and it is just an absolute massacre in the bottom lane.
There's just nothing you can do in that situation. Bulldog was actually trading heavily with Faker to try and stop him coming down, but 3 was enough. Andal was already chunked, the sums were down, and the resetting the tower aggro with the Kalista just meant there was no opportunity for them to get a turnaround kill. It's now well, I mean, it's not 4-0, but between them, 4-0 for the bot lane of T1. So, yeah, looking pretty rough. You know, take the Ashe support first pick and go fight fire with fire against T1's bot lane, not paying off.
It's not paying off. I mean, you go back to the bans that we saw in the first phase from Quantum Freaks. They have blue side, so they have a little bit more leeway. They ban away Orianna, Jace, and Lucian. And as you mentioned, it's essentially saying, okay, well, we're going to leave Kalista, we're going to leave Ashe, we're going to leave Varus, and we're going to play your game. And that's very dangerous. So speaking of which, Faker in a bit of a dangerous spot, but he still does have the flash and just casually sidesteps, but he's still in a lot of danger, as he will not get rooted, but he will get killed instead, which is a better route, as now Quantum Freaks should be able to take this Drake, although a lot of poke damage is coming in, and T1 maybe trying to fight this one 3v4.
Yeah, they don't have many ults, but they are coming up soon. I think Quantum Freaks should be able to get this and get out. They got to be quick, though. Yeah,
they do have the smite, as there it does go. Oh, look at the damage coming out right now from Guma and Keria. That's pretty low on the health bars, our Quantum Freaks, and they might be able to run this one out.
Ult is he's looking.
Guma running on in, but yeah, not going to go for anything further.
Yeah, a lot of confidence from Quantum Freaks to go for that. You know, knowing the ult timings, knowing they were down, gave them that window. But it was close, and the thing is, they get so chunked out and return. Zoning ult.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I just feel like there's very little you can do in this situation. I'm not sure it was intentional. Keria hopped in front to block that, but regardless, it was Guma getting the aggro was the important thing, which ensured that they could reset it with the Kalista ult. And here, Faker just overstepping a bit. Doesn't have the support of the team when he's going on this little solo mission.
Yeah, also got the rocks down late, so wasn't able to even stun Cuz, which allowed Cuz to flash over him, and it just turned into a total disaster. Meanwhile,
Andal?
Yeah, they're both here, and Andal is just going to go forward. They're trying to burst down Zeus, who does flash away, but he's just dead instead, as here comes Keria, and he's going to assassinate on the Kalista. And Andal is not long for this world either. That is a double kill once again onto Keria, but a shutdown potentially to go the way of Quantum Freaks, as that will be taken here by Cuz. Flash forward with the ult here from Bulldog. Might just be enough burst damage as the Q cooldown, he's trying to get it out, but now he's in trouble himself as Oner will come in and just gives the kill over to Guma, because why not?
what a chaotic passage of play, honestly. You know, it looked like Andal was so completely out of position, but they managed to turn around and take out Zeus. And then it kind of just got a bit wacky. I'm gonna there's no
Oh boy, backing on a ward here. He's going to Arctic retreat under the turret. Should be okay.
Yeah, should be fine. Yeah, Keria's playing this one a little aggressive, I think is safe to say.
You see like a lot of giggling happening if you watch the player cams here on both sides, but especially on Quantum Freak's side. I'm sure this isn't the first time. Might be more like the 20th time. I mean, considering the amount of times these two teams did scrim leading up into Worlds, I would imagine this is kind of used to it by now.
Yeah, and I mean, one of the factors here is that Duty was already so low before this play even started. But I think that maybe gave Zeus a lot of false confidence. He looks for the all-in kill here, and then ends up getting focused down quite quickly. Keria like goes through the tower.
Late dash here from Zeus. He's in a lot of trouble, and under the turret it does not matter because it's just so tanky, although they're going to wait to reset this one. And there you go. Dudu's just going to proc that ult and pick up another kill. So Zeus, he is the punching bag in this one.
Yeah, but this is kind of the issue. Seeing the turret gold come up. Oh, that's a lot of damage.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Oh, you gotta remember though, they nerfed Varus' base AD by 2.
Yeah.
So, you know, unplayable.
We are getting a Dirk nerf eventually.
Needed.
Yeah,
a lot of damage right now, and I feel like Quantum Freaks are finally starting to make things happen around this Sejuani Jax that obviously is a strong duo. But the problem is that...
Oh no. Oh, if he didn't barrier, he was 100% dead.
Yeah, this is the problem, you know. I think you can see it. I don't have to explain it. You can just see it in front of you. This is the issue, is your bot lane has lost. You know, bot lane has fallen, and Guma and Keria have just opted to move around the map and keep bullying.
All right, trying to dive onto Bulldog here, and he is in a lot of trouble. Faker does get ulted, but they do have the burst damage coming. Here does come Dudu and Cuz trying to turn this one around. Nice flash on in, but a little bit disjointed. They do get the stun onto Keria, who is slowed down and stunned once again, but now Fate's Call comes in, trying to turn this one around, but Andil and the Jhin ult nearly doing enough to take out another kill onto Keria. As T1 still on the run here, the stun will land, as will the Deadly Flourish, and Guma gonna give over another streak here as Keria. Where are you going, my guy? Yeah, the Blast Cone hit a bit late, and that's gonna be another shutdown given on over, as T1 are certainly having their fun with this game.
Yeah, the little switcheroo, you know, with the Keria and Bull there, but definitely an overstep from T1, and they are getting punished for it. A lot of value coming out from the long-range abilities of the Jhin to help with the chase down, because it's just been leading the charge. Finding the play here, great decision where, even though obviously the Sejuani is very tanky, they let the tower reset, they wait for cooldowns, and Dude just kind of pops him. And then this topside play, you know, they look for this pick onto Bulldog, but the problem is Keria's like looping into support, that tower's still up, they end up overextended, and you know, as much as we have all these powerful items on the side of T1, this Sejuani is so tanky already has a Frozen Heart, and it's getting so much value in these skirmishes, even though obviously it is a lethality Varus.
Yeah.
The armor is doing so much here.
It's pretty insane. I mean, they shelled a lot into Cuz, and it just did not matter. We also got to see some nice synergy there with the Ash Arrow coming from a pretty long range. By the way, it is Hextech Soul, if you guys did not see the gates already here on the Rift. And it does look like Quantum Freaks are going to make a play for this. They're not that far behind. And as we have seen, if Cuz can tank up a bunch of the damage, there's still chances for them to win these fights, especially against double lethality AD carry in the bottom lane.
Yeah, you can see Zeus is kind of posturing for a flank here. They have to be really careful. He's actually hex skating.
Yeah, that's very obvious. And can they get away from this is really the question. Nocturne ult comes in and it's stolen away as Oner is going to go forward. Doesn't really have any other way to go as he is absolutely dead. Andil also going to be caught off here as Bull in a lot of trouble. Can't get away from the Aatrox. That's a 2-for-1 plus the Dragon stolen away here by T1. As Zeus, he wants a bit more. We still have Weaver's Wall coming up. A very nice assault over the wall here from Cuz, but it might not matter. As I say that, though, they do get the knock-up, and then they just back away. Not going to overextend here as T1.
Yeah, so T1 managed to secure the Dragon. Nice smite coming out from Oner. Overall, it is pretty solid fight win for them as well, but they don't gain too many advantages, but you could see the impact of Zeus on this Aatrox coming in on the flank. They just didn't have a response for him, and as a result, kind of just lost their bot lane very quickly. It's a pretty uncomfortable position. Gold lead about 2,500 right now, so still pretty substantial for T1, but Quantum Freaks did an okay job keeping it within arm's reach.
Yeah. I mean, surely Guma and Keria, they got very far ahead early on in this game. But take a look at the top end jungle here of Quantum Freaks. I mean, Dudu's insanely fed. We got Cuz basically unkillable. That's going to be a flash forced away from Gumayusi as once again Ondil. Nice posturing here. Very aggressive on the Ashe. He knows that he can always threaten. He has a lot of support from Sejuani Jin. And he'll always look for those picks.
And that's the thing is, because there was no cleanse we talked about earlier, and they used the ult aggressively at the end of the last fight, you know, you're very vulnerable to these long-range engages from things like the Ashe, while that Kalista ult isn't available. It's coming up soon, though.
Yeah. So who is going to buy the Mikhails? I don't think it's going to be Guma, even though we joked about it before, and I don't think Keria goes at third item.
No, I don't think either do, honestly.
I guess you just go Edge of Night and
hope.
Pray?
Yeah.
Like,
that might be the strategy, honestly. Maybe Oner. They can give that duty to him.
Yeah. We have seen junglers in recent times.
You know, sometimes they go like Edge of Night. No, they go Knight's Vow. You know.
Yeah.
This is the adaptation. Is that? I swear, if I had have seen a Nocturne with Mikhails, I don't think I can handle that.
Yeah, we'd have to get another caster up here if that happened, I think. Yeah, and we are going to have at least 2 Edge of Nights, so you know, Zeus is going to go for it as well. That was a blind arrow. It does have a relatively low cooldown, especially if you do go for lethality Ashe, but yeah, they didn't have any vision there, so maybe a hawk shot thrown over or something.
Yeah, it's not that big of a deal if you just throw them out and you end up missing, but notice how T1, oh, they're looking.
Yeah, they're looking for a play here. Ondil now in a lot of trouble, and that's what happens sometimes if you posture aggressively without flash. The ability to close the distance here for T1 is pretty insane. And that they do as this mid turret is very low already. They're just going to take it down. T1 looking to pressure the middle part of this map at the moment.
Yeah, honestly, didn't even feel like T1 were really trying there. It's like they just kind of knocked Ondil over. It's like a swift breeze, I feel like. This Ashe really isn't doing too well into the Nocturne, I'd say. Like, we haven't seen it specifically punish it that much, but that's going to happen. If you're setting up, if you're trying to land poke, trying to pop these Edge of Nights, you will just get popped yourself. And you can actually look at the minimap. The amount of vision now secured for T1 around this Baron is kind of insane.
Yeah, it is. It's pretty oppressive at this point in time. We do see the top 2 in damage dealt is Guma and then Keria. Out of everybody on the Rift, obviously a lot of brawling between them and pretty much everybody on the enemy team, so I suppose that does make sense. As T1, I mean, it's past 20 minutes. We're at 21 minutes. Kind of getting a little nervous. They haven't started the Baron.
They were trying to. They had the setup for it. That is one thing with the Hawk shots frequently available. It does make it a little bit tricky to start it without being challenged on it. And also, T1's comp, you know, being stuck on the Baron when the enemy team has like Jin and the Hui as well feels a bit uncomfortable. But Dragon is up in 40 seconds. Quantum Freaks are trying to secure control over the Baron area, or at least have a ward so it doesn't get started. But they really need to make sure they're securing some vision around this Dragon. It is, as you said, a Hextech Soul, very high priority. Don't really want to give it up for free.
Absolutely. And yeah, you know, jokes aside, I don't think T1's ever going to start this one unless they get a big play. They don't have too much tankiness, and of course, the ability to get punished there is pretty large from Quantum Freaks' composition. But yeah, we are going to have a fight here for this Hextech Drake. Hex Gate should allow Zeus to get over here in due time. Might just end up doing the same thing where he takes the Hex Gate behind them and just says, okay, we're fighting now, or you're going to have to deal with me. As, yep, there he goes. We also got the wall coming in here as the chains are going to be flashed. As Faker's just in there. I mean, they've already done so much poke damage as now Zeus gets over the wall with the blast cone, and that's a nice flash forward with the knock-up as, yep, there you go. The monkey in the audience also really enjoying this one as T1 basically just cleaned them up for free.
Absolutely annihilate them, and it felt like Quantum Freaks just weren't ready for it. They went on the Dragon first. They got corralled in. Dudu was trying to find a position to threaten. You know, bear in mind, this is a 3-on-1 Jax with 2 items, and he wasn't even there. So definitely the coordination favoring T1, and they should just be able to pick up the Baron here. Yeah, not really much. It felt like we had so much back and forth this game. Even though T1 did have the gold lead after the early laning phase, there was a lot of fights where Conor Freaks was doing good. They kind of just flopped over on that one.
Yeah, it's almost like they just kind of let it happen. I mean, everybody was there in the pit, and they just got corralled so quickly before they could react at all.
Yeah, honestly, the combo, the wall coming in, Faker going so close, right on the backline, throwing the combo and then flashing out, and Zeus has time just to get in. Yeah, I mean, this is kind of what I was talking about as well with this composition of Quantum Freaks. If they get on top of your backline, you're in big trouble. And it felt like they went towards more power for the Jax by pairing with the Sejuani, rather than something like a Maokai, which is good at like defending and peeling. Once, you know, the Aatrox reaches the backline, there's nothing you can do.
Yeah, the Aatrox and the Nocturne, and even sometimes the Talia.
Yeah,
as well. Like
sometimes
Faker
the
just...
Callista as well.
Yeah,
probably the Callista actually.
Yeah, he's gonna spot him because, you know, once again trying to play around the Jax, but just feels a little bit lackluster. I mean, they're 9,000 gold behind. They don't really have much pressure. There's Zeus. He feels the pressure himself, and now we got a big rotation coming on in. A lot of pings here from the side of Quantum Freaks as Oner is going to be spotted. And Fear should come in. Zeus is pretty far away from this, though. Still trying to force the fight as the Chains of Corruption will come down. And yes, Oner gonna get flashed on. Takes a ton of damage, but they just can't kill him finally. We do have Bull to take him down as now Zeus is pretty unkillable himself on this lethality Aatrox, and yeah, they're gonna put a lot into him, but it's not quite enough. As now Keria, he's just running at the enemy team as he might fall here as finally Bulldog takes him out, but after so much was utilized, and they do get aced.
Yeah, prime example of the Callista being on the backline. 8-3 now for this Callista AD carry, and 4-1 for the Varus support. Let's be real, okay? It's definitely that way around. But yeah, I mean, this is kind of just been for minute 1, the domination for the bot lane.
Hey, Guma's got the most damage in the game, okay?
Wow. I mean, that's just broken support items, right?
Surely.
Yeah.
Don't look at the actual items.
Don't look at the actual items. But yeah, I mean, Pose ends up overstepping a little bit, but the problem is, you know, Dudu has no mana, and it's just 2 of them. There's no way to easily get in and support. We do have the Jingle coming out, but by this point, Dudu's already dead. Quantum Freaks try and kill this Aatrox, who is just immortal. And then suddenly Keria is flashing in to kill Andal and Cuz. I mean,
he did pay for it, but he also did set up the ace. So
yeah,
I don't think he cares too much.
I don't think he's...
Although he does oftentimes complain about his KDA right at the end of the game when they're diving Fountain.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm sure he's going to be happy with that one regardless.
I think he's pretty fine with it. Also 3 items, like 3 full items, not just like 3 including the support items.
Yeah.
Opportunity and Ghostblade aren't cheap as well. I'd actually be interested to see the gold. I mean, I'm pretty sure Keria has more gold than Bull at this point.
That wouldn't surprise me at all, as they are trying to kill Faker here, who is kind of just hanging out by himself in mid lane, just doing Faker things, I suppose, but he is going to pay for that one as chains do come down. They're trying to set up this fight as Cuz, he's very tanky, and he will survive. Lots of poke just come down, and they're just going to Fate's Call out of this one. Play it safe for now. As Guma does throw himself over the wall, look for a bit more poke. But yeah, just trying to exert as much pressure as possible right before this Hextech Soul. Drake does get spawned.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I like the idea of going for these picks. It's pretty good from Quantum Freaks. They might look for an angle on Guma. Remember, no cleanse, no Callista ult now. But they have 40 seconds to try and find an angle to fight this. Faker's going to be up soon and has teleport and the Hex Gate, so not really a problem. But yeah, Faker just... You can see the team trying to apply pressure in the bot lane, and Faker's kind of solo pushing and just...
It was a nice setup. I mean, Quantum Freaks cleared out all the vision on the blue buff side of their jungle, so Faker didn't know if they were there. And yes, he was very far forward, but just to applaud Quantum Freaks for a nice little setup there. And T1, they just elect not to fight it, as now Oner has respawned.
Yeah, once again, I mean, I feel like Zeus is getting so much value of these Hex Gates. Andel's half HP and Aatrox is there.
Oh no. Wait. Wait, no! Oh god! The horror, as now they're going to dive into this backline. We do have Bull in a lot of trouble as well, as he can't get away from the fear. He doesn't have any summoners. I mean, let's be real, they're down 13,000 gold, and T1 are just playing with their food. And yeah, I don't think Cuz is going to die, although Oner's going to try to up his damage number as much as possible.
Yeah, he wants that one kill. He hasn't got one yet this game.
He and Andal on the same amount of kills, actually, so yeah.
Yeah.
Trying his best.
Equal impact. No, not quite. Yeah, I mean, the flanks from Zeus have just been... Oh!
All right, flash forward. Faker trying to create some more action, as they normally do. As unfortunately, Andal is going to hit his 9th death in this one. Another seismic shove comes out, and the game will end. And there you go.